Just on the result there at the weekend, coming when you got pegged back to 1-1, the reply almost immediately to get the goal within 7 minutes to go back into lead as well. That showed a real sort of that real grit to avert from a setback.
Yeah, I was delighted with that. Really, really delighted, because obviously you're going away there to Watford and it's a big game and you get your noses in front. They go and equalise, and I thought it was handball. So I was looking at how our team reacted to that, and we scored a fantastic goal. Really, really good team goal. I think you saw everything that Ethan Laird brings to our team in that, in terms of his running power, but also his intelligence. When he gets into crossing positions, he doesn't cross loose. He tries to pick people out. And I think I'm delighted with Ethan. And you're right. And then again, you come in 2-1 at half time. They go and score again. Is it a foul? I tend to think it is. I think if it was VAR, it would have been a foul. So the players have got that going on as well, Jim, where they're they feel a bit aggrieved, but they stayed with it. They recomposed themselves, and then they went and took the game to Watford and got the winner. So there was a lot that came out of the weekend to be pleased about, both as staff, but also the players and the fans as well.
And I suppose, Mick, in terms of two of your players now, Olamide Shodibu and Sinclair Armstrong, both have been playing prominent roles off the bench. Olamide, 4 appearances, and Sinclair, 5 appearances. Are they really pushing for that, pushing hard for appearance in the starting 11? They're supposed to two. Sinclair's a young Irish player. Oladibe has been around for a while, but they seem to be in your thoughts anyway in terms of the first team.
Yeah, well, I think it's lovely for the club in general to have 2 boys that have played in our academy teams impacting the first team this year. Obviously, Mide's been out on loan for a couple of years now, and it was important that I gave him an opportunity. In moments, he's done very, very good things. He hasn't, at the moment, come away with that goal or assist, but he's certainly had opportunities to, and he's trained very well. Sinclair's had a wonderful start to the season in terms of his exposure in the last month or so, and the way that the fans have taken to him. I thought he come on and did a really good job for us at the weekend as well. So they're both there in the background. Obviously, Mide's been a starter at this club, and with Sinclair, I think we're getting everything we can out of Sinclair at the moment. I was delighted for him at the weekend, because when he has come on recently, he came on, and although he's done some good things, we never got the result as a team, the result that we desired. And he came on at the weekend and did a bit more of a defensive role for the team than an attacking one. And the outcome was we won. And so I said to him afterwards, so no more tears at the end of the game. I want to see more smiles. And obviously it was a nice moment that we won the game, and we celebrated there in front of our travelling support. It was a lovely place to be at 10-5 Vicarage Road on Saturday.
And I suppose, Mick, in terms of your opponents, Hull, they have an overhaul in terms of their players this year, roughly 10 or 11 new signings. But they have been one of the stories of the championship so far in terms of the amount of goals they're scoring. They seem to be a team that are full of goals at the moment. So to combat Hull, I suppose, really is to stop that sort of, the first goal is going to be so crucial, because they seem to be a team, if they get their swagger going at all, one goal can become 2 or 3 fairly fast.
Well, Shota, he was known for that as a player himself, wasn't he? He was a fantastic player. So I'm sure as a very similar to John Dole Thomason, the first game of the season, when a manager is a former centre forward, you know that their team's going to have a reference of playing into the forward, getting crosses, having people, committing numbers in the final third. I think there'll be goals in this game, because we've scored goals as well. 3 against Middlesbrough, 2 up at Sunderland, 3 against Watford. So we're a team that's got goals in us, and certainly they are as well. Their games have been packed with goals. Their last 2 games, 5 goals at the weekend, and the week before 7 goals against with West Brom. So famous last words, it'll be 0-0 now, won't it? But let's hope that it's a game full of goals and entertainment, because deep down, that's what everybody wants to see. They want to see a lot of goals, but ultimately want to see a QPR win at the end of it.
And finally, for me, the business take bringing in Leon Balogun, the former Rangers defender. How did that come about on your radar? Was that a player on your shortlist for a while now?
The moment I knew that Rangers didn't renew with Leon, we were trying to get the deal done. So it's one that we've been trying to do all summer. So I'm delighted to have him. I wanted the option of playing a back three or a back four. I couldn't practice to play a back three because I felt I only had 3 experienced centre halves in Jake, Jimmy and Rob. And if I'd have done that and we'd have got an injury, then I'd have spent all pre-season working on something I couldn't have used. So that was a good call, because after that first game of the season, we lost Jake for 6 weeks. So I only had Jimmy or Rob. Other than that, I wouldn't say I haven't only got them, but I've got young boys who are untested at the championship level behind them. So I've only had Jimmy or Rob for the last 6 or 7 games. And touch wood, they haven't had a problem. But if they had a problem, we were going to be throwing in a very young centre half into a team and a season where we hadn't settled down yet. Having Leon here now is fantastic in terms of his experience, his international experience, his experience of playing in big European games. So the last 2 games he was involved in for Rangers was the Europa League final and the Scottish Cup final. So he's coming out of games like that, where the expectation at a club like Glasgow Rangers is absolutely enormous for every single game. And so I want someone coming in here and pushing those standards. Leon's got to earn his way. Nothing's given. And I've explained that to Jimmy, Jake and Rob at the start of pre-season. There's no gimmies here. You have to fight and you have to play well. And Leon comes into that equation as well. I like the idea of having competition. You know, similar like last week when I'm talking about the midfield, there's been no competition. There's only been those midfielders. And I think for those midfielders as well, if you add some competition with Luke getting fit and Taylor getting fit, then you have to be better to keep your shirt. And I think Sinclair's forcing Chris and Ilias to do as well as what they're doing, and Lyndon to work as hard as what he is, because we're starting to get some competition, you know, and Ethan and Kenneth are playing well because Aussie's breathing down their neck, and Albert's just scored. So I think we're starting to get where a squad should look like. It shouldn't just be 11 or 12 and the others. It should be 16 or 17 players all pushing to start. And at the centre-back position, Leon certainly does that for us.